Big Rab Show Podcast is kindly sponsored by G1 Reeds. They are the champion's choice, with many bands around the world playing G1 products, providing everything you'd need to hit the circle or the big stage. So, check out g1reeds.com as they keep the lights on here at the Big Rab Show Podcast.
Hello there, everyone, and welcome to another Big Rab Show podcast. Oh boy, it seems like no time since I was sitting in this chair last week, you know? But we're back again. Each and every week we're here, talking about what we know and love to be the music of the great Highland bagpipe and its people. Yeah, so if this is your first ever Big Rab Show, how yous doing? Welcome back. We are the show for the bagpiping folk. Or even hello to all of our new listeners as well. We did add a whole bunch of new people following last week's episode, so hi, hope you stick around. Every week we're here talking about the piping scene, so hopefully there'll be something here to enjoy for everyone. Now, I have to say, last week we didn't really plug it too much, but I'm going to go a little bit overboard this week. Patreon. All right, every podcast out there has one. All right, and I know I mention it every week that it's a bit of a cliche, but yeah, there has never been a better time to be part of the Patreon faithful. We honestly have a wealth of extra content back there. Now, last week's Fuse FM Ballymoney radio show is up there now on Patreon. You can go and listen to it now on catch up. I have to say, last night's show was just fantastic. We played a lot of music from last year's New Zealand Nationals, and we get into it grade by grade, band by band. It was just brilliant. We had text messages from people in New Zealand who were actually out there at the championships, tuning in, listening to Rab Show. It was like 8 or 7 a.m. in the morning or something where they were listening to us. It was just fantastic. What a great show we had on Fuse. Please go and check it out on Patreon. It's available there to our Patreon faithful, and each and every week that you'll get uploaded episodes. So if you do manage to miss our show live as it happens, you can go and listen again on catch up. Also, there's tons of extra performance clips, video, behind-the-scenes stuff, and episodes of Rab Show Plus. There's lots back there for Patreon subscribers, so if you do want to go and help support our show, help us keep the wheels turning here, then absolutely. Go over to Patreon, click on support, and get your mitts on all of those extras. You will not regret it. We honestly have years' worth of radio material back there, and when you consider that each show is 2 hours long, come on. That's a serious amount of piping and drumming right there. So, yeah, click on support, get access to all the extras, and go and download them all. And you can spend a full, I don't know, I haven't even done the maths on this, but 2 hours live every week for how many years? A long time. Yeah, so you guys can do the maths. I don't know. But there you go. Shout out to our Patreon faithful. You guys are awesome. There's a link in your show notes right now. Go and give it a click and go and check it out. All right. Every now and again, we do special promotions over there on Patreon where we do give some of our extras away for free. So if you do want to sign up for free over there on Patreon, that is an option, of course. And then periodically, as we do release free episodes, you'll get access to those too. Yeah, go and check them out. All right, well, with each and every Big Rab Show pod, we do open the door to listener mail, and this week is no different. Our email address, as always, has never changed. bigrabshow@gmail.com. The address again, bigrabshow@gmail.com. Now, we are continuing to get a lot of correspondence on thoughts and feelings around poaching. All right? Player poaching seems to be quite an emotive topic. However, a lot of the commentary that we're getting seems to be now where a lot of people are agreeing with our stance on previous episodes. If you haven't listened to the past couple of episodes where we've already delved into this subject, then please do go back and have a listen to them. It seems to be that we're hitting the nail on the head with quite a number of people who are agreeing with our definition of what player poaching is. And we'll possibly get into that in Weekly Drone. We do have another one on that. So, yeah, just wanted to give a shout out to everyone who has sent us in correspondence talking about player poaching. There's been a lot of that discussion around dinner tables around the world, I'm sure. And yeah, a lot of the opinion has already been reflected in previous episodes. So thank you everyone who has emailed us in. A good number of you did want to remain anonymous. Also, we got queries in asking for piping lessons. And that has happened a lot this past week. A lot of people looking, where can I go for lessons? Well, as we've said on many's a show, we do have ongoing promotions with the Piper's Dojo, where we have 30 days of Dojo Premium. That's absolutely brilliant, by the way. So for any beginner or even for advanced, I know I'm giving it another plug here, but seriously, it's a fantastic service. So we have referred links to those people who've been looking for piping lessons. But also, there was a drummer who contacted us as well. I can't remember the name. Kirsty. Yeah, Kirsty, who wanted drumming lessons. So we've referred on to the dojo as well, because they do handle that area now too. There you are. So, yeah, be you piper, drummer, or otherwise, even just a fan, please do go and check out Dojo Premium, our special promo that we have with them. Just go to dojouniversity.com/Big Rab. There you go. And you can take advantage of that 30-day of Dojo Premium for free. There you go. All right. So I know that sounds like a huge plug, didn't it? That was a giant advert there. Genuinely, though, that's, where we've been pointing those folks. All right, let's move on. If you do want to send us in your own listener mail, you can. bigrabshow@gmail.com. The address again, bigrabshow@gmail.com. We have got a lot of correspondence sorting out stuff to do with future episodes, including this weekend's New Zealand Nationals. A lot of people were wanting shout-outs and stuff last night on Fuse. We got a lot of those wishing each other good luck and stuff. So, yes, we read all those out on air, which was brilliant. Keep your emails coming. They absolutely are the lifeblood of the show, and we really love hearing from you. So, if you do want to get a shout-out on the show or have a question, query, or comment, that's where you can go. bigrabshow@gmail.com. Now, another way that you can reach us here on the pod, of course, and do it anonymously, is our feature called Weekly Drone, and that's next. Yes, our website, thebigrabshow.com. There's a big button right at the top of the page called Weekly Drone, and you can fill in the details of your story, warts and all, your thoughts, opinions, queries, questions, criticisms, everything. You can let us have it there on Weekly Drone. And it's completely anonymous. That's the beauty of it. There's no fear of recrimination from either your band or your organization or anything like that. It's an open microphone for the bagpiping world. So, JD, I believe we'll have some drones this week, mate. So, let's start with the first one then.
It's the Weekly Drone.
Outreach. On a previous pod, you mentioned that outreach was an issue for the piping world. I completely agree with what you said. However, I have one question. We constantly look inwards at our scene and celebrate our own successes. And your podcast is a shining example of this, talking all about the scene to the fans from the scene. Another example of looking inwards, in my opinion. My question is, how do we look outwards? How do we attract those who are not interested and showcase the scene in the best light possible? Is this the job of the RSPBA Board of Directors? The bands? Dare I say the media? Your podcast included. We absolutely need to do more to attract those out there to our scene. But just where do we start?
Oh, there we are, starting with a big one this week. Yes, we will absolutely tick our criticism there. We are definitely a very inward-looking podcast. Yes, I agree with that fact. We do honestly talk to piping fans about piping. And yes, I take our lumps that we should absolutely be talking to the non-piping fans and showcasing our music in the best way possible. And I did mention that on a previous pod where outreach was a huge issue. Now, we were talking about this in the context of RSPBA. We were talking about, major championships and such, and how can we showcase them in the best light possible to make them an attractive prospect for a region or area to host one. Now, it does read across. Not only should our RSPBA be showcasing piping and drumming in the best way possible to outsiders, but we have a duty ourselves on the Big Rab Show. I absolutely tick our lumps on that. Thank you, Weekly Droner. Yes, I am happy to admit this could be stuff that Rab got wrong. I absolutely have a duty where I need to outreach, I guess, to those who aren't piping fans and to try and make them piping fans. We do think we do a small bit of that over there on Fuse FM each week. I have to say, we get text requests every week for all sorts of random pop music over there. Because it's a local radio station and they get a lot of requests in, and a lot of it might not be piping orientated. We get requests for country music, for rock, pop, rap, R&B, everything under the sun. I think last night I was getting requests for Queen, and then I got one for Bon Jovi as well. I've never known Bon Jovi to play pipes. But yeah, we get all sorts of random requests sent through to our radio show, and yeah, we don't really steer off the path of piping. We do have to kind of make a joke about it and say, "Hi, I've never seen Tina Turner playing a set of bagpipes, but if she did, I'm sure she'd do a great job." So that kind of thing. So yes, we do have a duty to outreach to the piping scene, and it's something I've been kind of agonizing over with this podcast. And I want to ask your opinions on this. Weekly Droner, this is for you too. You did ask the question, the media has a responsibility. Yes, absolutely we do. Do you guys think that perhaps a Back to Basics podcast would be beneficial, where we try to explain how our bagpiping scene works? What is competitive bagpiping? What are the judges looking for? Just why does every band play the same tune and only one band wins a prize? That's what I was told once by a non-piping fan. So yeah, we have that duty to explain that to non-piping fans. So should we make a podcast about it? Should we explain how the competitive world works and just what our judges looking for? That'd be an interesting pod to put together, I think. And perhaps some of us who are already in the scene and are aware of all of that stuff, maybe it would be a good bit of homework for us to kind of revise over that fact, Yeah, that's an interesting question, so I'll pose that to you guys. Yeah. All right, but yes, as to who should be doing the outreach, yes, the RSPBA has a responsibility. I've just said, yes, us in the media absolutely have a responsibility, but the bands also have a responsibility as well. Now, I'm going to get into the weeds here, and I'm going to draw criticism for some of the opinions expressed here. I know a lot of the pipe bands, especially those who are involved in the piping competitive scene, a lot of them are very heavily focused on competition, and that's it. Very rarely would you see a competitive pipe band of that regard, feature in a local community event. Running fundraisers for like a local school or a local charity or something like that. You would never see the pipe band that is so focused on competitiveness. No, we're not turning up to your fundraiser, that kind of thing. So, yeah, there are plenty of bands out there that do engage in their local communities. Don't get me wrong. I'm not throwing anyone under the bus here. But I do have to tell you that there's a clear and obvious benefit for bands who do that. Those who engage with their local community and do outreach like that, playing at charity events, playing at the garden fetes, things like that. That really does pay dividends. It's a huge outreach effort, and it shows that our competitive bands not only play medleys and MSRs in the circle, but they can also go and play at these functions and entertain audiences and show young kids to say, hey, this is what a pipe band can sound like. Do you want to come and try this? Well, here's our band hall. We'll see you on Monday night. That kind of thing. So, yeah, community outreach. Honestly, I do believe there is a burden there for pipe bands to also engage in that. And I suppose as St. Patrick's Day approaches, a lot of bands will be heavily involved in community outreach, I guess. However, there are those competitive bands out there that will not be. That's all I'm going to say. But yes, there is a responsibility, I believe, in all of us in the piping scene. The bands, the media, the association, all of us to outreach for our bagpiping world. And we're going to hopefully try and do that a little more here on the Big Rab Show. So yeah, thanks, Droner. I will take my lumps on that one. Yeah, interesting question, that one. All right, Droner, I believe we have another one, JD, on the shelf. Let us have it.
It's the weekly drone.
Breton bands. It's disappointing to read that the second leg of the National Bagadoo Championship, usually held in Lorient in August, won't be held this year due to financial issues. However, in an effort to follow your lead, Rab, and see the positive in these things, that could mean that we see some of those bands make a trip to Glasgow for the Worlds instead. And who doesn't like seeing the Breton bands turn up on Glasgow Green?
Ah, yes, Weekly Droner, you do bring up quite an interesting topic now. To be fair, I did miss this announcement, okay? That's on me. I missed that announcement altogether, which honestly is huge news for the Bagot scene. This is absolutely detrimental. We did see the first leg of the championship took place, and it was absolutely blistering. Some of those runs, honestly, I don't know. We spoke about this on our Fuse show. It was just absolutely brilliant. And you can go back and watch all of those online. We've shared them out far and wide as best we can. So, yeah, the first leg of it was just fantastic. And we were really excited for the second leg. Of course, it was going to be taking place in August in the Lorient Festival, which is a huge occasion. Now, you're talking literally tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of people enjoy this event every year. And to see that they have had to pull the plug for financial reasons definitely raised alarm bells. Now, those alarm bells are not all positive because as you consider this event and its sheer size, it has raised a lot of questions, thinking, well, why? Surely this is bound to be turning over quite a lot of money. So why did they need to pull the plug? And as we're finding, there isn't much in the way of explanation. And that's just kind of watch the space for next year, I guess. So, by way of having no explanation, really, I did my due diligence and I've been doing a bit of asking around behind the scenes and finding out what's happening, what caused this, and where are we going now. As our weekly droner suggested, this has now opened the opportunity for a lot of those Bagot bands who would normally not look to the World Championships because they're happening at the same date as the Lorient Festival. This now opens that to opportunity. And I'm not going to name names, but there has been talk behind the scenes that this could open the door to potentially seeing a good number of those Bagot bands travelling now to the World Championships this year to compete for world titles. Oh, boy. Now, whether we'll actually see it happen or not, don't know. Obviously, that's going to be a huge financial undertaking and a lot of logistics behind the scenes to make that possible. But I do agree with our weekly droner. The door has been opened. And yes, that is absolutely devastating news that the second part of the championship series for the Bagot scene will not be happening. That is absolutely gutting. I couldn't agree more. It's such a huge loss for all of those bands who have spent all this time preparing for it. And we're aiming now for August. However, with every door closing, another one opens. And now, yeah, how exciting is that going to be to see these bands potentially either in our European Championships or even in Glasgow for the big one? Now, we're certainly going to be keeping across developments with this, and as soon as we hear any more whispers from behind the scenes of any bands potentially putting in their entry forms for the Worlds, we'll certainly let you folks know, because I'm sure, like me, you're going to be very keen to see these bands in the circle. Oh, that's going to be all sorts of exciting right there. All right. Anyway, we'll keep across that. So, Weekly Droner, thank you for that. It is an interesting question, and we'll certainly, we'll be following this story with interest. All right, JD, I think we've got one more Weekly Drone on the shelf. Go on ahead, mate. Let us have it. Is this the one on poaching?
It's the Weekly Drone.
Poaching from a youth development perspective. I help run the development program of a small village band in grade 3. About 70% of our grade 3 and all but 3 in our grade 4 band have come through this program, including me. Recently, we have heard from young players that a local school band has talked to every single person in our grade 4 band, telling them that our band is a waste of their time and they have better everything than us, as well as these players of ours saying that these people have been truly horrible to them. This is one thing, until we found out that people in the band are encouraged to pay £20 per one-to-one lesson. We have always held our lessons free of charge and would never rob kids like that. We are a community band, and if all these players have left us, we would have no choice but to disband or move down the grades, due to losing so many players. This has been put to a head as we found out that some of our 8-year-old learners were gaslit by this band, telling them that they would have no friends with us. This is what poaching is, maliciously trying to gain more players to scam them out of their money effectively. What's happening in grade 1 is not what poaching is.
Weekly Droner. Now, that does sound oddly specific, but there was no names mentioned and all of that, so we feel we're safe enough to broadcast this. Now, there is a case that the grass is always greener, and, you mentioned there about being gaslit and stuff. I don't fully understand what that term means, I guess, but that doesn't sound positive. And as for lifting and poaching players from one place to another, again, it does take two to tango. It does need that buy-in from both the person who's trying to pinch the player, but also from the player themselves. If they believe the story to be completely believable, and yes, the grass is greener over that fence, then, I don't know where the responsibility lies. Does the responsibility lie with the poacher, or the poachee, or the band that the person is leaving, or the band the person is joining? I don't know. It's murky waters. Now, I do understand that a lot of people are agreeing with my definition that, what's happening in grade 1 right now is not poaching. It was simply an invitation extended, it was accepted, and that's it. But, what sounds like what's going on here is a different ballgame. So, Weekly Droner, the definition of the word poaching has a lot of negative connotations, and your story really doesn't sound that positive either. So perhaps in your experience, I can see how that definition would apply there, I guess. But I'd be keen to know our listeners' opinions on this. So I don't know. It's such an emotive topic. And as I've been mentioning, we've been getting nothing but correspondence on this over this past few weeks. And I guess we're never really going to see the end of this discussion. It's such an emotive topic where a lot of hurt feelings can be, enacted, I guess, when something like this takes place. And, that's what we've been experiencing now on the Big Rab Show. There's a lot of very emotive discussion over this. People have had experience in the past, and a lot of people are now worried that they will experience this in the future. We did get a previous weekly drone that did mention that the band themselves have a responsibility, I guess, to make sure that their band is attractive enough to make sure the player wants to remain. So, should that be the case now in this case? I don't know. I'm not fully across the details here, but in that regard, how that weekly donor explained that story, it does make logical sense in my opinion. Yikes. All right, folks, I reckon that's it for Weekly Drone this week. I'm going to wrap it up there quickly at that point. But yes, if you have any questions, experiences, or queries that you want to raise with us here on Weekly Drone, as you've just heard, we will broadcast it, warts and all, if it doesn't have any names, dates, locations, all of that kind of stuff that can be easily identifiable. So, there you are. You can email us in your thoughts, bigrabshow@gmail.com, or you can submit your own Weekly Drone. And we'll let them fly on the show. All right. I am reading my script here because there's a lot of news and updates, and I'm getting distracted here. Okay, so I don't even know where to begin with this week. Seriously. And I do want to get into this week's topic, which is a fun one. Piping posers. I have a lot to talk about there. All right, let's get into the news and updates. Folks, I'll be right back after this wee short break.
Do you wish piping could be fun again? Bagpipers around the world continue to struggle with their instrument, despite hours of hard work trying to get better. Bagpiping should be fulfilling. Your hard work should pay off, showing improvement and the freedom to express yourself musically. Or why do it? The Dojo University believe every piper should be able to free themselves from musical frustration, proven over more than a decade of successful teaching and accessible anywhere with an internet connection. The dojo is unlike any other bagpipe learning experience in the world. Let the dojo channel your enthusiasm into a fun and fulfilling program that will empower you with the knowledge to fall in love with piping all over again. So go to dojouniversity.com/Big Rab and take advantage of our 30-day free trial of Dojo Premium membership. Join the global community of students today and rediscover the fun of bagpiping. dojouniversity.com/Big Rab for a 30-day free trial.
Ready to take your playing to the next level? Say hello to the ES Session Chanter, the ultimate practice chanter designed for versatility and durability. Crafted from stainless steel and aluminium, the chanter comes equipped for both an A stem and a B flat stem, giving you the freedom to play along with any instrument, anytime, anywhere. Whether at a band practice or a trad session, the ES Session Chanter keeps pace with your creativity. Included with the chanter is the custom carbon carry case, the perfect addition to this compact and tactile instrument. To get yours, head to essessionchanter.co.uk. Okay, folks, let's get into all the news and updates. And, okay, I'm going to have to lead with the big story that's going to be affecting all of the bagpiping world this week, and that is, drumroll please, the RSPBA Annual General Meeting. The AGM, it's finally time. When all the bigwigs head to Glasgow to RSPBA headquarters, their new shiny RSPBA headquarters. And, this is going to be quite an interesting meeting. Now, for those of you who are going to be going to the meeting, then brilliant. You can just sit back and relax now at this point. But for those of you who are not and have no plans to do so, well, that's you I'm going to be talking to. Saturday, 8th of March at 11 a.m. This is going to be quite an earth-shattering meeting for a lot of different reasons. There are 2 potential rule changes in here that have been put forward, have actually made it through the branch stages and will be heading to headquarters to vote on. And this is huge, folks. If anything, Pipes and Drums, the website, pipesdrums.com, have actually published a huge story on this. And, it has got a lot of people talking, especially locally here in Northern Ireland. But they open with the line in their article and said, when America sneezes, the world catches a cold. Now, fair enough. But what they're basically saying is that they have seen in the United States that there's been various different moving and shaking along with different branches there in the US, and have been trialing things from a judging perspective. And a lot of them have worked really fantastically well. One of which we've spoke at length here on the show, we actually spoke to Bob Worrell about this as well, is the use of technology. Yes, and this is one of the potential rule changes that's being put forward to the AGM. Yes, suggesting that we move away from pencil and paper, moving across to a headset and an iPad. Where a judge can actually give you a running commentary and verbally give you their criticism. That's interesting. Now, for those of you who are interested, you can go back to our Christmas episode where we did talk to Bob Worrell all about this, and he has experience of using this system, and he was all for it. And if anything, he loved it. He said to begin with, it took a bit of learning and getting used to, and not having something to write down was a bit odd, but being able just to talk and summarize your thoughts and go, hey, you maybe had a bit of a flub on the break there. Maybe the drummers were just pulling a little bit. Something like that. Go and listen to that pod. Bob does absolutely break it down into all of its component parts. And his thoughts were that he absolutely loved it. So, will we see this new possible system coming across now from the United States who did trial it? Will we now start to see it here in the UK and at other RSPBA sanctioned competitions? That's an interesting development. My own opinion is if we have the technology, then why not use it? If it makes this job of judging, which honestly is an incredibly difficult job, if it makes it easier, then why not use it? Yeah, why not help our judges instead of trying to hinder them, making them write using a pencil in the lashing rain? Yeah, I don't know. That's just my thoughts. But yes, if we have the technology, in my humble opinion, we should use it. And it is now going to AGM this weekend for a vote. So I'm looking forward to seeing how that pans out. And we'll report on that, of course. Now, not only is that rule change apparent, but there is another rule change around judging that Closskelt Pipe Band have submitted and has made it through the branch stage and will be going to headquarters for a vote. Pipes Drums, again, have published this in their article and they explain it all. Yeah, the possible suggested rule change is as follows. Now, I'm going to read this. At all RSPBA major championships and where practically possible and not out with local branch rules in minor competitions, the judging panel will consist of 5 adjudicators. Now, come on. How long have we been talking about this on the pod? I think from when we first started here on the Big Rab Show. Even before the podcast started, even back in our Fuse days, we were talking about the possibility of 5 judges. And we've been saying that this is a great idea. Well, now here it is in black and white. Closskelt have come up with this and have put it forward for an AGM vote. Now, who makes up the 5 judges? Well, we have 2 piping and 1 drumming. That's pretty much the standard fare, isn't it? However, the additional 2 judges come in ensemble. Yes, that we have 1 ensemble and in brackets drumming and 1 ensemble in piping. Oh! Now, isn't that interesting? Now, ourselves, we did mention this about possibly introducing another judge, but we weren't looking at it from an ensemble point of view. We were thinking 2 piping, 2 drumming, 1 ensemble. But no, having 2 ensemble judges here, 1 more focused on the drumming, 1 more focused on the piping, that's an interesting concept there and could really be a really interesting idea. And yeah, one of which we haven't fully unpacked here on the show. Now, it goes on in the Pipes Drums article. They've spoke to the Closskelt Pipe Major, Davy Chesney, and he actually kind of lays it out as to why this has been suggested. He says, if there is 1 piper and 1 drummer judge ensemble, they'll be able to draw heavily on their actual skill set and hopefully a better result. You are. So yes, as we know, our ensemble judges have come from either a piping or drumming background. They've either been a competitive piper in their day or a competitive drummer. So why not draw on that experience when they're looking at ensemble? Yeah, to have 1 ensemble judge from a drumming background, 1 ensemble from a piping, you get the picture. 5 judges in that circle. Whew. Yeah, we've been suggesting this now for ages and ages, and it's so brilliant to see it in black and white, if I'm honest. So, yes, I have to say, I'm all for this. I think this is a fantastic idea, and I'm sure there's those of you out there going, no, Rob, it's terrible. What are you talking about? Well, if you disagree, our email address, bigrabshow@gmail.com. You can let me know. This is stuff that Rob got wrong. But honestly, this is so exciting. Number 1, that suggestion of the use of technology in judging, yes, I'm all for that. Absolutely. This suggestion for 5 judges in the circle with 2 ensemble judges, absolutely brilliant. Yes, I think this is fantastic news. And even if they were to roll it out on a trial basis to see how it all works, how they can tot up the scores and how does it affect things, yes, trial it, see how it goes, test the waters. If it works, great. If not, hey, at least we tried something new, So, yes, folks, I can't tell you just how important this weekend is, not just for those couple of rule changes, but there's also a lot of other things in there that we need to discuss as well. Of course, about the arrangement of competitions and stuff. You guys know we've talked about the challenges of that this season. Yeah, there's still a major that has been left off the calendar and will not be appearing this year. And we've spoke all about that in previous shows. But yeah, if you do want to go and hear all the whys and wherefores behind the scenes and find out, well, just how difficult was it to arrange a calendar this year? And what can we do to make it kind of flow a bit easier next season and the seasons ahead? Then, yeah, do consider heading along to this weekend's AGM. Now, if you're not going as your band representative, then make sure that your band secretary or your band rep has plans to attend. And if you won't be able to, if it's just not possible, you can still send a proxy, okay? Now, we have shared those details out across the Rab Show socials a few times now. There are a way that you can send a proxy to still make sure that your band is represented, your band will have a vote, and all of these important decisions. Every band matters, and that's what we've been saying here in the show, and it does kind of echo what the RSPBA Northern Ireland branch has been saying, along with other branches as well. Dundee, Perth and Angus, I think the Glasgow Central have been saying the same. Yeah, this meeting is just very, very important. So, by way of reminder, okay, just wanted to let you all know this is all happening. 8th of March, make sure that you're attending. And you can either join in person or online. It's a hybrid meeting, 11 a.m., 94th AGM. The papers and everything for which we're not going to go through, we do know they have been sent out to all band secretaries, so you should have already received those if you've paid your fees. But yes, you should be well across the detail of what will be discussed. Now, some of the financial reports and the reports from the judging committee, as well as the schools and things, there's going to be a lot to delve into, folks. I don't think this is going to be a short meeting by any means. It's going to be quite heavy, this one. And of course, as everything falls out from the AGM, we'll be talking all about it in next week's pod, I've no doubt. Especially the vote on those two very interesting suggested rule changes. Now, there are others in there as well. We're sort of glancing over the others that have been suggested and put forward, but those are the two that sort of jump out to me. And of course, Pipes Drums have jumped out to them too, and they've published articles on it here today at the point of me recording this. So, yeah, it's going to be an interesting AGM this weekend. So, we'll be at the other side of it, and we'll update you next week as to what the crack is. Oh, and speaking of AGMs and stuff, I just wanted to remind you, for those of you listening right now in New Zealand, of course, the RNZ PBA AGM is taking place on Thursday. Well, tomorrow, at the point of me recording this. Okay, so for full information on that, go to the RNZ PBA on their website, of course on their socials as well, where they have published all the final documents, including your agenda, all that kind of stuff. You can go and check that out. RNZ PBA also holding their AGM. Yeah. All right, well, seeing how we mentioned them, let's talk about the New Zealand Nationals. Man, I cannot tell you how stupidly excited I am for the New Zealand Nationals this weekend. Seriously, this has turned out to be a huge highlight of mine around this time of year every year. You know, I don't know, it's winter storm in January, and then not much happens in February, but then, wham, along comes the New Zealand Nationals and blows us all out of the water. Yeah, last night on Fuse FM, we went through the grades. Grade by grade, going through every band in the draw, and we played out our champions in all of the respective grades. We had a lot of fun on Fuse last night, playing out a lot of great music. But this weekend, we're going to be in for all sorts of great music. Oh, man. I'm going to run through the draw really quick for grade 2 and grade 1, okay? And yes, I know there's a wealth of other grades, but I have to kind of cut for time. So looking at grade 2, we've got 5 bands in here. We have St Andrews College. Yes, we have the Pipe Band Club from Sydney who are making the trip. We have the Celtic Pipe Band from Nelson who are defending national champions in grade 2. We have the City of Tauranga Pipe Band along with the St Andrews Pipe Band from Brisbane. There you go. 5 bands in total in grade 2. I just can't call it. I don't know. Having seen the St Andrews College Band up close, they can absolutely thump out a tune. And the Pipe Band Club, I've already mentioned it before. I'm a massive Pipe Band Club fan. I've got quite a number of mates actually plays in their drum corps. So, yeah, shout out to the Pipe Band Club. What a cracking band. And to everyone else in that grade. You know, the defending champions, the Celtic Pipe Band, Tauranga, Andrews Pipe Band from Brisbane. Seriously, what a packed grade. That's going to be all sorts of blister in there. All right, on to grade 1. Big grade on the day. First in each MSR and medley, drawn first on the day. But Canterbury Caledonian Society, of course, are our defending national champions. We then have the New Zealand Police Pipe Band. Go on, the New Zealand Police. Good stuff. It's good to see them back in the circle again, actually, after a short break away. Also, then we have Manawatu Scottish. Brilliant. There we go. Go on the 2, as they say. Then we have the ILT, City of Invercargill Highland Pipe Band, who can always thump out a tune. Do you know, I actually really loved their medley from last year. That was good. But do you know another band whose medley just blew my socks off was Hawthorne, and Hawthorne are back again this year. Wow, I can't wait to see Hawthorne in this circle. Then we have the sixth band in the circle, then the final band on the day is Auckland and District. Yes. And, or as they're affectionately known, the A&D pipe band. I've been hearing them referred to as. So go on, the A&D. So, 6 incredible Grade 1 big guns in there, duking it out for the New Zealand Nationals. Folks, there's going to be such a great wealth of music here. I cannot wait. So, for all of the details to do with the live stream, they have been published now. You can go to rnzpba.com. All of that information is up there on where you can go and tune in. There's a link for day 1, link for day 2, and from what I've heard, there is plans for full coverage of the Street March competition as well as all the action from the circles. So, headlining the commentary this year will be Phil Mayer and Max Middleton. There you are. So, they have also said that there might be the odd guest every now and again appearing on the stream as well. So, a few special guests along the way. Anyway, hoping that you're going to be tuning into the Nationals this weekend, because I will be, for sure. If anything, I am that person who has booked time off work to actually tune in and watch the thing. Yeah, because as it's happening here in the UK, unfortunately, it starts at 9 p.m. and rolls all the way through to the wee hours. But, I don't know. I do this every year. I tune in and watch the New Zealand Nationals just because the music on offer is just another world. You know, the standard in New Zealand right now couldn't get higher, and I'm really excited to see what the bands are going to bring to the circle. We've been following their domestic calendar now for a while, and we know that a lot of the bands in the circles can absolutely thump out a tune. And man, I can't wait for this weekend. Have I said that already? I think I might have. So go to rnzpba.com for all of the details on your respective live streams and stuff. Keep an eye out for those special guests. And as we've mentioned last week, there has been a bit of an issue with people online on social media clicking on fraudulent accounts. Okay? I have to put it out there. These live streams are absolutely free. Okay? If you find yourself clicking on a link and they're asking you for payment details, do not go any further. Don't provide them your card number, nothing like that. That's a scam. You know, all of this will be live streamed online for free. No matter where you're tuning in online, it's all being done through their YouTube channel, the RNZPBA YouTube channel, which is free. So again, if you are clicking on links and stuff and they're asking for your shoe size, your blood type and all that, that you've clicked on a dodgy link. Get out of it. If anything, there's so many of them floating around now. It's kind of scary. So, please be careful what links you're clicking on, and please do not provide any payment details for the live stream. All right? I've said this last year, and people fell foul, and, contacted us after and go, "Oh, Rab, I was out like 300 quid trying to watch the live stream." Why? Don't click on dodgy links, okay? That's our big advice. If you are wanting to tune into the New Zealand Nationals, don't click on dodgy links. The live stream will be absolutely free. So, hope you can join us. It'll be a great weekend of music. I'm really looking forward to it. And good luck, by the way, to all of our competitors. We do know a good number of you tuned in live last night on Fuse, and a good number of you were actually still travelling to the Nationals when you were tuned in last night. So thank you, everyone, for listening in New Zealand. Good luck. We will all be watching you. And, we're really looking forward to seeing the music you bring to the circle. Good luck, have a good tune, and we'll see you all on the other side, because we'll be, reading out all the champions, of course, on next week's Rab Show. There you go. All right, let's move on. Okay, also this weekend, just to remind you, you probably are already aware of this, of course, but we just wanted to remind you, this weekend is International Women's Day. Now, it's quite a special time, of course, of year, as we like to recognise all of the women in our piping scene. I have to say a shout out in particular to the National Piping Centre, who have been publishing stuff across their socials this last while, all from the Maquette Collective. Some amazing stories of some real inspirational women involved in the scene. And the Piping Centre are doing their best, doing their bit, I guess, to showcase that in the best way possible. We've absolutely been glued to some of these stories, which are just fantastic. This shows some real determination and tenacity in the face of some kind of adversity. So, yes, absolutely, we're all for it. So, we were going to run a bit of a feature on this week's show, showcasing women in piping and drumming. However, yeah, we didn't manage to get it put together in time, so that's on us, unfortunately. But hey, everyone has, filled calendars right now because we are in the middle of concert season, I guess. We'll talk about that in a minute or two. But yeah, we just wanted to give a big shout out to all of our Big Rab Show team members who are amazing women. Woo! And to all of you out there, by the way, if you do have a set of pipes under your arm or a drum on a harness for any reason and you are a woman, then absolutely keep her lit, as they say, and we recognise you on International Women's Day. Aye, we're looking forward to seeing you on the grass this season. Good stuff. All right, concert season. Yes, want to get into this, okay? I have to give a particular mention this week to the Kids with Cancer Charity Night. It's been a wee while since we spoke about it here in the pod, but it seems to be every week now we're mentioning it over there on Fuse. Yeah, Kids with Cancer Charity Night just seems to be getting bigger and better. I don't know, they keep adding to the list of things that are happening. So much so that they've actually changed the start time. Have you seen this? Yeah, Gary Smith has had to move the start time of the Kids with Cancer Charity Night to 10 minutes earlier. It's now not starting at 6 p.m., it's starting at 5:50, just because they have so many people on the bill, which is brilliant. Let's run through the people that we know that are going to be there so far. All right, Kids with Cancer Charity Night, 22nd of March in the Royal Hotel in Cookstown. We'll have World Solo Champion Ashley Steele will be there. World Solo Champion Ethan Young. World Solo Champion Jamie Coffey will be there as well, along with Willie Glenholmes and the Kilted Cousins. We're also going to have a duet from Joshua Green and Tommy McAndrew. I'm looking forward to that. Tommy has actually been publishing a lot of stuff across on his TikTok account. A lot of it's really exciting. So looking forward to that duet there. Now, also, we're going to have, of course, world champion drum major Louise Smighton's going to be on stage. Go on, Louise! And again, Louise has been publishing a lot of great stuff over there on TikTok. And there's a lot of pipers and drummers on TikTok these days. But yeah, go and check out Louise's TikTok. It's been really entertaining this last while. Also, we'll have a vocalist, Catherine McKeown, yes, who's about treating us to a song. So also we'll have Jimmy Nicholl, who's the current Northern Ireland assistant manager for the international football team. One for soccer fans. Brilliant. Now also, we're going to have the 70s tribute band are going to be there. What? Yeah, I don't know. It seems to be this band just like appears out of the ether and then suddenly just ta-da, we're here, we're going to slap you in the face with a massive big set and then run away again. And that's what happened. It happened last year at the All-Irelands. Did you see the set that band played? Oh, my word. People are still talking about it. So, yeah, we're going to get a chance to see the 70s tribute band again, but this time on stage at the Kids with Cancer Charity Night. I'm looking forward to that. Of course, one of the big headline acts on the night will be St. Lawrence O'Toole. Yes, the current UK pipe band champions will be on stage, and of course, world drum corps champions as well. So I'm hoping for a wee cheeky drum salute in there. Shameless plug. But yeah, St. Lawrence O'Toole will be one of the headline acts on the night. That's going to be absolutely fantastic. The last time that St. Lawrence O'Toole were there in Cookstown, they absolutely lifted the roof off the place. It was insane. And let's not even get talking about the after party, which is now the kind of the stuff of legend. But yeah, shout out to St. Lawrence. I cannot wait to see you on the 22nd of March. That's going to be fantastic. Now, one of the things that has got the bagpiping world talking is this next act that I'm going to talk about with the Kids with Cancer Charity Night. It's kind of been underplayed until recently. Yes, Gary was on the show and he was telling us about they were going to put together a bit of a tribute piece to pipe major Richard Parks. Now, he was saying on that show that he wasn't entirely sure what that tribute will be, but he's hoping that closer to the time, yeah, he'll have a bit more of an idea. Well, for those of you who do follow Gary Smith on socials, yeah, you can see that he's been working behind the scenes on something really quite special. Yeah, there seems to have been a bit of a tribute pipe band formed. Now, whether that's the case or not, I don't know. I can neither confirm nor deny. But looking at a lot of the behind-the-scenes kind of clips that he's been uploading, Yeah, there does seem to be snare drummers there, definitely a bass drummer and a few tenors, and definitely some pipers put together. Now, what this tribute piece will be, we've absolutely no idea, but we do know that a lot of past and present Field Marshal members have been working behind the scenes for this upcoming tribute. So we're absolutely waiting with bated breath on this one. I don't know. All we can do is speculate at this point. We've no clue. There's been no rumours either, which is really unusual. Normally you would hear at least a whisper or two as to what's going on. Someone would let it slip, but no, there's been nothing. We've no clue. So I cannot wait to see what the surprise will be, and that will be a big moment at the Kids with Cancer Charity Night, a tribute to Pipe Major Richard Parks. That's going to be special. Now, from what I remember, I think Gary actually said to us on the show here that Richard has actually been invited to attend the show. So hoping that'll be the case. And I'm looking forward to that. It's going to be a real special moment. So there you go. Get your tickets if you haven't already, but I do believe they are in limited supply. So, shout out to the Kids with Cancer Charity Night. 22nd of March cannot come quick enough. That's going to be quite a big show right there. Okay, just another couple of little concert announcements and stuff. There's one happening this weekend thanks to Drumlock Pipe Band, who are celebrating their 75th anniversary with a huge concert. This is all taking place in Hillsborough Presbyterian Church, of course, on Saturday, 8th of March. Yeah, so after you've managed to recover from the RSPBA AGM, then perhaps you can attend this. Doors open at 7 p.m. and will be featuring such artists as the Drumlock Pipe Band themselves, also a band called Wookalilly. That sounds fun. We'll have Roy Ferguson giving us some poetry. We have Catherine Stewart's Highland Dancers. Yes, we have the Ormo Concert Band. Ognigeski at Silver Band will be there. We have Scott Wallace who'll be doing some piping for us. Ian Burrows will be giving us some folk music as well. Then Klaus Kelt will be there. Yes. Now, this will be the first opportunity to see Klaus Kelt this year. So, hey, there you are. Shout out to the Drumlock Pipe Band. That's exciting right there. Tickets are 15 quid each and can be got from any member of Drumlock Pipe Band. And go and enjoy that. Saturday, 8th of March in the Hillsborough Presbyterian Church. There you go. Also, I have to give a shameless plug again to my own band, Tully Lagan. Yes, we are hosting a huge concert in the Burnavon Theatre in Cookstown. Tickets are still available. You can go to theburnavon.com and grab your tickets there. 5th of April, I will be on stage, of course, and Tully Lagan Pipe Band as well, and including their development band as well will be there too. Also on stage will be the Queen Elizabeth Pipe Band from Castle Dawson and the William Kerr Memorial. Yes, so hey, if anything, I'm really looking forward to this for many different reasons. Going by previous year's concerts that were hosted by Tully Lagan, you're going to be in for a real musical treat. So I know they're my band, and I have to say that they're awesome, and they are. But yeah, really excited for this actually. So the 5th of April, Burnavon Theatre in Cookstown, Tully Lagan. That's going to be such a great show right there. So go to burnavon.com, grab your tickets. That's going to be a good night's crack there. Okay, now we did mention St. Patrick's Day is fast approaching, and we do know there's quite a number of pipe bands out there that have published their mini tour. There's so many bands out there doing gigs that are not just the one gig, there's like 5 or 6 in some cases. Yeah, some pipe bands out there have published their St. Patrick's Day tour program, and we've done our best to share those out as we've received them. If your own particular pipe band is involved in St. Patrick's Day celebrations over the next couple of weekends, then please do let us know here in the Big Rab Show, and we'll do our best to publish those for you. Yeah. I do have to give a mention in particular, though, to upcoming events as part of Belfast Trad Fest. Yes. They're doing something really quite special. As part of their St. Patrick's Day celebrations, they've launched quite a bit of piping and drumming for you to enjoy all across St. Patrick's Day weekend. Yes, one of which is a piping competition which will be held in the Mac Theatre in Belfast as part of Belfast Trad Fest. It's just called Solo Highland Piping Competition. Pretty simple title, but not a simple prize. Yeah, the winner of this competition will have the honour of going and competing to represent Ireland in the McCrimmon Trophy competition as part of the Festival Interceltique de Lorient. So, for 5 pipers who have took up the challenge, one of these guys could have that blistering opportunity of representing their country at a massive festival. Now, entered in this, we have Alistair Donaghy, Chris Coyle, Alan Glenholmes, Rhys Doherty, and Owen McGregor. Ooh, yeah. That's going to be absolutely blistering. I'm looking forward to this. This is going to be taking place on the 15th of March, St. Patrick's Day weekend, in the Mac Theatre in Belfast, as I've mentioned. You can get your tickets for this right now through Belfast Tradfest on their socials. I would encourage you to get tickets for it because, these will sell out quickly. I was at previous competitions and they were held in the Deer's Head Bar in Belfast, but because of demand, they've had to move it now to the Mac Theatre, which is a much larger venue. But when I was there at the Deerhead Bar, they were turning people away that they couldn't get in the door. The place was at capacity. This change of venue shows that this is just increasing in popularity. So, good luck to everyone competing there. That's not going to be an easy competition by any means. But shout out to the Belfast Tradfest, who not only are doing this piping competition, but they also have Highland bagpiping and snare drumming taster sessions, tuition classes, master classes, all of this kind of thing. It's all happening across St. Patrick's Day weekend. So for more information, go along, check it out, Belfast Tradfest. There's tons of great piping and drumming to enjoy, as well as a lot of great trad music as well, all across Belfast City, all across St. Patrick's Day weekend. So that's all sorts of exciting. So go and give them a shout, Belfast Tradfest. A lot of great piping on offer there. Yeah. All right. Going to give a shout this week to the City of Angels pipe band. Woohoo! Go on, the City of Angels. Now, the reason I'm giving them a shout is because they're doing something. Well, they've done something really quite exciting. Yeah, the band has had an opportunity to have an appearance on the Jennifer Hudson Show. Now, I'll be brutally honest, I didn't know what the Jennifer Hudson Show was until I clicked on the link and I watched a few episodes on YouTube. All right, it's basically an American talk show, but it's honestly quite a big deal. Yeah, it has a massive following, and at the point of me recording this, it's actually already went out live on the TV channel Fox. So for those of us here in the UK, possibly the best way for us to watch it, we can watch it on YouTube. Just a huge shout out to the City of Angels. I'm actually managed to see the clip, and fantastic. What a way to represent the bagpiping world, and shout out to the City of Angels. A lot of fun, a great conversation there, and what an opportunity to showcase piping and drumming to a global audience. Yeah, because not only is this show a big deal in the United States, but the Jennifer Hudson Show is a big deal. Absolutely fantastic to see piping and drumming represented in such a brilliant way. And shout out to the City of Angels. This is fantastic. Great stuff. Okay, going to give a mention this week to Kerr McQuillan. Now, we were talking about Kerr last night on Fuse. A lot of people very excited to see what Kerr McQuillan has been up to. Kerr has launched a brand new product on the drumming world. Don't know if you've managed to see this yet or not, but if you haven't, then please head over there now to Kerr McQuillan Percussion, where he's been uploading exactly what he's been up to. Yes, he's launched it's a drum pad, but to sell it as a drum pad is kind of an understatement. It's a whole new innovation and an innovative approach to drum pads, I guess. Let's say this. If you own a mobile phone, and I'd probably say a good majority of you do, well, have you ever put a case on your mobile phone? Probably have. I know I have, because I'm always dropping mine. Well, Kerr McQuillan has found a way to put a drum pad in a phone case. All right? Now, I'm not going to try and break it down any further than that. I have reached out to Kerr McQuillan to hopefully tell us more about this product, and Kerr has agreed to come on the show and to chat all about it. So, not going to delve into any further of the detail. That's me just kind of summarizing what it is. Could definitely be underplaying it. I think there's a lot more involved with this product. So shout out to Kerr McQuillan. This is such an interesting innovation in the drumming world, and I dare say a lot of people will be interested in this. I know I am. Yeah, so shout out to Kerr McQuillan Percussion. If you haven't seen it yet, do yourself a favor, go along, have a look at it. You know exactly what I'm talking about. And chances are, by the time next week's pod rolls around, you'll probably have one already bought. But we have Kerr McQuillan hopefully joining us on a future show to tell us all about this incredible product. I'm really looking forward to this. It's such a great innovation. And we will talk more about it. Yeah, trust me. But for now, go and do your homework. Go and give Kerr McQuillan a bit of a shout on socials and say that Rab sent you. Oh, it's brilliant. Honestly, it's brilliant. Okay, now we've been kind of following this story over on the Big Rab Show on Fuse this last few weeks, and we did mention it, of course, on the pod about stuff that Rab got wrong, about the National Youth Pipe Band of Ireland. Yes, you might remember last week when I did foolishly say that this was the first ever iteration of the Youth Pipe Band of Ireland, and I was unceremoniously told that I was wrong. Well, the brand new latest iteration of the National Youth Pipe Band of Ireland, is starting posting to social media. Have you seen this? Woo! Yeah, young pipers and drummers all across the country have been invited to attend an instructional session and rehearsal to be held on the 23rd of March, and this is to be held in Cork City. Ooh, boy! I can't tell you how excited I am for this. This is honestly the first sort of baby steps of the National Youth Band, and I cannot wait to hear what music's going to be produced by this, because we've seen the band kind of mucking about. At I think it was the Ardmore Cup, there was a lot of youngsters playing at that, and they just kind of hung around together and played a few tunes for a bit of crack. And from that, they have now established a proper Youth Pipe Band of Ireland. And I can't wait to see what else is going to be produced. Because if those kids were mucking about that time and were playing some big tunes at that stage and they were just messing, imagine what they can do when they actually put it all together. Have a pipe major. They practice it. Whew, I don't know, boy. Anyway, so really excited to see what that music is going to be from the National Youth Pipe Band of Ireland. That's exciting. 23rd of March is their opening rehearsal, and they're throwing an open invitation out there. So for more information, of course, go along to the IPBA on their socials and, maybe consider attending that event in Cork City if you are anyways curious. All the details, including all of where you need to attend, your hours and everything, it's all up there on the IPBA socials, so definitely going to be worthy of your time if you are planning to attend. So go and check that out. I'll certainly be keeping across developments there. It's very exciting to see a National Youth Pipe Band of Ireland back again in that case. Ooh, looking forward to more there. Brilliant. Okay, bringing it closer to home up north here, I guess, to Northern Ireland. I have to give a bit of a plug this week to the MacDonald Memorial Pipe Band, who are hosting a juvenile solo competition. Yes, this is taking place on the 22nd of March in Dromore High School in Dromore. And for full information on all of that, you can visit the MacDonald Memorial Pipe Band for full information. Have to say that if you are planning and competing at this, then the date for your entries, the deadline, I have to say, is the 8th of March. So depending on when you're listening to this, it may already have been closed. But if you're listening now and it's not the 8th and you haven't got your forms in, that deadline's fast approaching. So that's your deadline for your entries. And good luck to all of the competitors there. We hope to see you in the circle or on the stage there, 22nd of March for the juvenile solos there. Thanks to MacDonald Memorial. That's exciting there. Good stuff. Well, folks, I think at this point I'll possibly wrap it up. Now, I do know there's a good wealth of other information that we've left on the cutting room floor. I did mention other concerts that we could be plugging, of course. Yes, the National Youth Pipe Band of Scotland have a huge concert coming up in April. So do the Fife Polis. Yes. Come on. And then, of course, St. Lawrence O'Toole have their massive concert coming up as well. So, a lot of our Grade 1 big guns going to be involved in concerts aplenty, and I'm sure we'll talk more about that as they get closer. But yes, tons of other concerts as well and stuff to plug. But as always, we run out of time. And rather than me reading out a hashtag list, we would like to know if you folks think this, something that we absolutely should be mentioning here in the show, please email us in bigrabshow@gmail.com and we'll do our best to bring it to a future show. All right, well, the New Zealand Nationals are coming. The RSPBA AGM is coming. There is so much ahead of us in the bagpiping world. Concerts and gigs aplenty. St. Patrick's Day is fast approaching too. So much to enjoy in the piping world right now. It's just crazy. But the subject that we're going to get into now has nothing to do with any of that. We're going to be talking about piping posers. You'll find out what I'm going to be chatting about in a second or two. But first of all, I think it's time for me to go and get a big cup of tea. It's time for the topic of the week. Kingdom Thistle Pipe Band Supplies. For all your pipe band and marching band needs. Supplying everything from uniforms and instruments to custom designed bass drum heads. They offer it all. Not forgetting their exclusive Kingdom Gilly Brogues and George Boots, crafted by bands for bands. Kingdom Thistle provides expert product advice and an industry-leading drum refurbishment service to keep your equipment in top-class condition. Also shipping worldwide. So stop by their store in Fife or visit them online at kingdomthistle.com for all your pipe band and marching needs. Wallace Bagpipes. Quality, pride and passion. Made in Scotland. Proud bagpipe supplier to the Red Hot Chili Pipers. From the most basic of sets to the most elaborate, they have something for everyone. Also offering bagpipe repairs and restoration. From a simple makeover to a full overhaul. From a chipped mount to a complete replacement. Wallace Bagpipes have you covered. Visit wallacebagpipes.com for more information or contact your nearest dealer.
Hello, this is Allie the Piper, and you are listening to the Big Rab Show.
Yes, indeed. Time for Topic of the Week. And the title of this week's episode sort of gives it away. We're talking about piping posers. Yeah, now we're going to get into the weeds on this as to what exactly is a piping poser. And I don't know where the term even came from. There seems to be a total new thing over this last, 6 or 8 months. I've noticed it a lot online. It's kind of been thrown around like confetti with a lot of people accusing people of being piping posers. Now, the one person's opinion on what a piping poser is, it can be completely different from the next. And that's why I want to get into the discussion on this week's show with you folks here in the Rab Show pod. I would like to know your experience with piping posers. Now, what I mean, my own definition of what a piping poser might be, would be someone who has all the gear but no idea. I've spoke about this on the pod before, about someone who would rock up to a gig as absolutely dressed in all of the finery, the full number ones, all right? You know, the big bearskin and everything. They look amazing. And then they pull out of the pipe box a set of bagpipes that are just glistening. They are full silver mounted. They absolutely look the business. All right? They have all the gear. But then whenever they blow those pipes up, you find that they have no idea. Yeah, they can just about get through Amazing Grace. And then that's it. So, yeah, you ask them to play anything else. You know, can you play me a 4-4 march, 2-4 march, 6-8, anything? No, I come here, I play Amazing Grace, and that's about it. Maybe a little bit of Scots Way Hey or Mary's Wedding, and that'll be about it. So, right, okay. That to me is someone who is definitely portraying themselves as this incredible, amazing bagpiper with all of this amazing gear and has no idea. Now, that's my definition. What your definition of a piping poser could be completely different. Now, I do know the 17th of March is fast approaching, all right? St. Patrick's Day. We do see a good number of bagpipers out and around celebrating St. Patrick's Day in various different celebrations around the world. And we will see a lot of pipers out there dressed like shortbread tin bagpipers and just about squeaking their way through a set. Now, then we will see the online commentary. If any of those videos do appear online, you will see all the keyboard warriors going, piping poser, piping poser, piping poser. Yeah, it can be quite tiresome. But the definition of a piping poser could be different from one person's perspective to another. Now, I know I give you my own personal definition of what I believe a piping poser to be. And I have drew criticism for that myself. For that one musician who has the incredible gear, who looks the part and can really thump out Amazing Grace, that might just be the peak of what they want to achieve. And in their opinion, they are not posing. They are a fully functioning bagpiper. They're able to turn up to any event, play Amazing Grace, and get their photographs taken with the tourists, etc. And that absolutely ticks a box. So, are they a poser? I suppose in recent years, since I've started doing this Big Rab Show thing, that I've really kind of got an appreciation as to what a bagpiper actually is. and whether they're posing at doing that function or not. Regardless, either way, they are still representing the instrument, the music, and the culture. And that is an interesting argument right there. So, before everyone starts typing in that stuff that Rab got wrong, my own definition of what a piping poser has definitely changed over the years. Now, my definition of a piping poser has definitely changed, and we'll get into that in the conclusion. But I do want to talk more about this. People who are throwing this accusation around online to absolutely everybody. Now, the reason we're kind of addressing it, this week is because, following last week's podcast where we talked to Piper Ali all about her brand new exciting album, her upcoming tour and everything, we've seen a lot of the vitriol that has been thrown in her direction. Now, not just Ali's direction, but seems to be any online bagpiping personality online seems to get a lot of hate flung their way. Going, you only think you can play the instrument, What about playing a Pibroch or an MSR? Or, what have you ever won? Have you ever won a championship? Have you ever won the Worlds? Etc., etc. That seems to be one that's quite common. Now, just following our interview just last week on the podcast, you might have seen a little video from Ali actually posted to her socials where she did explain to people saying, yes, I was a competitive bagpiper. I have won the World Championships. Here's all the medals I won at solo competitions when I was younger, and I'm now doing this, piping rock thing, which is a lot of fun. Now, we spoke about it last week as well. We did agree that it was a lot of fun. We're huge fans of her music and absolutely encouraged everyone to go and see her live. Yeah, so I don't know. I completely disagree with some of the hate that is flung her way. But as I say, she's not alone. There's been the same thing flung at bands like the Red Hot Chili Peppers and others, I have to say, that are putting bagpipes in a place where you wouldn't normally see them. In a rock band or pop band, etc. Yeah, there are those traditionalists out there that are, pretty much naysayers and saying, that's not piping, they're just piping posers. Now, ourselves in the Rab Show, we have been very quick to run to their defence and to tell everybody who do post such things online or pass such comment, we've been able to say that no, the Red Hot Chili Peppers are fantastic musicians in their own right. All competitive players playing in the top flight and can absolutely thump out that MSR that you're looking for. And then that did kind of get us thinking. This drew a conversation on Fuse FM last night. We did play the Red Hot Chili Peppers and we were talking about their upcoming album, Back to Roots. And that did cause a bit of a discussion. Well, what roots are they returning to? Are they returning to the roots of their first iteration, playing bag rock? Or are they going to go and look back to their own competitive roots? It's going to be an interesting one, that one. But some people then argued and said, they've never played competitive. Well, come on. Yes, they have. Absolutely. But I have to say, why does playing competitively have to be the measuring stick by which all playing is measured? Does that make sense? It seems to be, as soon as we see a bagpiper online, or a drummer for that matter, the first question that everybody mentions is going, what band do you play with? All right? And then that's used to gauge the standard of the player. Oh, well, they're a grade 4 band. I'm not going to listen to them. Or they're a grade 4B band. Or they're a grade 2 band. They're not even grade 1. There seems to be this kind of snobbery, which makes absolute no sense. And then if the player does confirm, yes, I do in fact play with a grade 1 pipe band, and this is their name, and, we've won X amount of prizes. The very next question out of their lips is, well, have you won the Worlds? Right, folks, this thing about piping posers and the measuring stick that is used against these posers being competition. Well, what have you achieved? Have you won the gold medal? Have you won the Glenfiddich? Have you competed in grade 1 and won the big one? I don't know why this measurement criteria seems to be applied to a lot of our piping musicians nowadays. And it doesn't make an awful lot of sense to me. Now, I don't know, you can completely disagree with me in this one, but the whole issue of being called a poser kind of implies a lot of negative connotations. Number one is that you're trying to hoodwink people. is that you're not actually a competent player and you're trying to make out that you are. And then also, you're all kind of insulting the players if they say, you can't play, you're rubbish, put the pipes back in the box. Now, for anyone posting such, again, it just raises into question, why are you holding a yardstick up to that player and saying, you don't reach the standard, you're not a good piper? As I've said at the very beginning of this week's topic, I was talking about what my definition of a piping poser was. Someone who had all the gear and no idea. And, as I mentioned, it may well be that piper who has all of that great equipment and looks amazing at a gig, that could absolutely be the peak of what they want to achieve. They can rock up, play their tune, get their photos, and that's it. Job done. They're more than happy with reaching that standard. So who are we to kind of say, nah, you're not good enough? That doesn't make sense to me. Now, I'm going to pose this question to you folks out there, the Big Rab Show listeners right now. Have you ever held that yardstick up to anyone? Not even any one person, but a band of note, like we mentioned. Bands like the Red Hot Chili Peppers or others in the trad and folk music scene constantly seem to be having to answer a question as to what they have done competitively. It makes absolute no sense to me, but it seems to be a big thing that is happening in recent years, especially post-pandemic. A lot of people are asking this question now. Where have you played competitively? That band's no good. Oh, that band's good. Okay, what did you win? Right, so I would urge you to maybe think about what your definition of a piping poser would be, and why are you holding up that yardstick? Why are you making them hold to task? Is it, well, have you won? Let me see your medals. Prove it. Let me see the video clip of you performing at the Glenfiddich, etc., etc. Makes absolute no sense. In my brutal opinion, I think we should be more supportive in the bagpiping world, especially when it comes to those who we would possibly class as piping posers. I honestly think that we should be more supportive of our piping world and encourage those musicians to say, hey, yes, you can play Cajun Grace, you can play Scotland the Brave, but look at all this other amazing music you can play as well. You know, I love watching the competitive stuff, maybe have a look at that. I love watching the Chili's and Piper Alley, for example. Go and have a look at that, maybe branch out into that direction. And if they want to, great. And if not, hi, at least you've opened their ears to another musical potential. And that would be my advice for anyone wanting to possibly challenge any piper out there on social media. Yeah, maybe encourage them if they aren't aware of the competitive scene. So, hey, I know you've been involved in all this trad and folk stuff, but have you ever looked towards the competitive world? And I think what you might find is that possibly 90 or 100% of the pipers that you'll be talking to are well aware of the competitive scene because they've been asked that question. Yeah, at least a dozen times. So, to wrap everything up in a nice neat bow, I wanted to explain how my definition of a piping poser has changed over the years. That guy with all the gear and no idea clearly has a working knowledge of the bagpiping world and, as I mentioned, can play Amazing Grace and attend a gig and do it competently. Blah, I could just about talk. So that guy to me, back then, I would have thought was a poser because they only played one tune. But now, I absolutely don't. I think that person, I'm not going to name them, but I honestly think they've done a cracking job and they're more than happy with it. So, yeah, my definition of a poser has now changed since I've been doing this pod. And, unfortunately, there are those unscrupulous characters out there, and I'm sure you might well be aware of some of them, who absolutely cannot play the instrument. However, they manage to turn up at least once a year to either a St. Patrick's Day gig or a Burns Night celebration or other, and they turn up with all the gear and expect to be able to play on stage, in concert, on a street corner, something like that. And unfortunately, because it is their once annual performance, you suddenly find that that person cannot play the instrument. Their maintenance has gone out the window. Tuning? What's tuning? What does that mean? What's that term? Yes, all of that goes out the window. And unfortunately, that video reaches it to YouTube or socials and goes totally viral. It's everywhere. And then, well, you never even know. You may even find it on an episode of Rab Reacts. Those are the people that I'm worried about. And for me, I know we had a weekly drone on this asking about outreach, and I do believe it's those people in the bagpiping world who do have a passing interest in it and the music that's in it. And I do believe it's those we need to outreach to say, hey, see that tune that you're trying to squeak your way through there? Maybe if we show you, this is how you maintain a bagpipe, this is how you tune it, and here's how you actually play the tune. Yeah, if we bring those people into the fold, then perhaps they won't be posing as a bagpiper. They will actually learn and actually be a bagpiper. Now, I don't know, that's how my definition has changed over the years. It's not the person who can rock up and play a tune. It's the person who rocks up and has absolutely everything chucked out the window. All right, and unfortunately, it's those videos that go viral, and that's how our bagpiping world is represented. So yeah, I do want to reach out to those. If anybody is listening right now and would class yourself in that bracket, maybe you do play only 1 gig a year, maybe you're completely self-taught and have never actually had a bagpiping lesson. Well, yeah, give us a shout here in the Big Rab Show. We'd be very keen to talk all about the bagpiping world, its intricacies, and what makes it so wonderful, and why there's even a podcast here that talks all about it every week for 400 plus episodes. Makes no sense, does it? But yeah, we love this scene, we love its music, and if we can try and assist everybody in it to showcase it in the best way possible, that's exactly why we're here. So, yeah, bagpiping posers, they are a thing, but I do think that term is being used very loosely, in my opinion. And it's being aimed at those who, I believe, are pretty accomplished musicians and definitely do not deserve half of the vitriol that has passed their way. If you don't like their music, that's fine, but they are still playing music at the same time. They're representing the scene in a different way that you might not be happy with. So yeah, for traditionalists who believe it's MSR or nothing, fine, absolutely. I can see where you're coming from. The tradition is a thing and MSRs are a thing, absolutely. But, yeah, there is also a place in this bagpiping world for blistering reels and hornpipes and, yeah, AC/DC and Queen. You never know. What is next for the piping world, we don't know. But we really hope that this classification of piping posers, can be carefully used, I guess. And not used in such a negative way. I suppose has a lot of negative connotations to it, doesn't it? So yeah, just be mindful whenever you're flinging that one around online that it's not flung around as well as it has been this last while. Anyway, so I would love to know your opinions on this, all right? Have you had any experience of piping posers? I'm sure you're probably well aware of someone who has all the gear and no idea. So, yeah, I would love to know your opinions on all of this. Email us in, bigrabshow@gmail.com. That address again, bigrabshow@gmail.com. Or, of course, you can let us know your own thoughts on Weekly Drone. What are your experiences with piping posers? Now, we did mention this a long time ago in the pod, and we are sort of revisiting it, kind of. We did previously talk about busking in the bagpiping scene, and how busking can be really quite damaging when done incorrectly. And it's those folks that we're talking about, those that are posing for the tourists on the corner of a street in Scotland, say, "Hi, I'm a bagpiper, come and take my photo and drop a $5 in my pipe box, please." And when you ask them to play a tune, they get out an air compressor. If anyone's seen that episode of Rab Reacts, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Anyway, that's what we're talking about. Everyone, I hope this week's topic has been food for thought. As we roll closer to St. Patrick's Day, I also hope that it does give you cause to possibly not fling around that term of piping poser as freely. Yeah, if that bagpiper can play a tune, then, hey, more power to them, in my opinion. Yeah. Well, I have to say, I'm going to give another little plug here before I do go. I did have to mention, Rab Reacts. We are going to be reviving that series. We haven't done Rab Reacts now in a long time, but that's for good reason. We've been preparing things here in the studio, and we're now just about ready to start recording videos again. So if you do want to send us your own clips and stuff for Rab Reacts, then please do. Find the YouTube link and email it to us, bigrabshow@gmail.com. Put your title being Rab Reacts, and your video could be on a future episode of the Rab Reacts on a YouTube channel. There you go. Who knows, we may well find more piping posers on there, and I'll be reacting to them. Oh dear. Alright folks, well, that's been an interesting topic right there, and piping posers. It's an interesting topic, that one, and everyone's definition of a poser could be different. And I don't know, I've given my own opinions here. I would love to know yours, and what has been your experience of them all? Alright folks, I'll wrap it up there. That's it for another Big Rab Show podcast. Thank you everyone for downloading this week and each and every week. And of course, we will see you all back here again next week for even more bagpiping goodness. Until then, see you all next week. All the best.
Well, that's it for another Big Rab Show podcast. Thanks so much for downloading this week. And a special thank you to our sponsor, G1 Reeds. Played by bands around the world, they are the champion's choice. Check out g1reeds.com for all of your piping needs. Don't forget to check out thebigrabshow.com to be kept up to date with all of the latest news and views from around the piping world. And also, check us out on Patreon. For $5 a month, you can get your hands on tons of extra piping goodness and be a part of the Patreon faithful. So, until next week, folks, we'll see you right here on the Big Rab Show podcast. All the best.